Welcome back to SuperBike Intelligence, everyone. And today, I'm honestly excited in a way I haven't been for a long time. Because we're talking about a motorcycle that feels like it slipped into our timeline from a future where design studios build machines with emotion first, mathematics second, and pure attitude third. The Husqvarna Vitpilen 901R, the 2026 vision of what a modern neo-retro performance bike can be. Before we dive deep into this, make sure you drop a like, leave a comment telling me what bike you want me to review next, and of course, subscribe to SuperBike Intelligence so you never miss another deep dive into the machines that keep us awake at night. Alright, let's get into this one because the Vitpilen 901R deserves a slow, detailed moment. Imagine this. You walk into a dimly lit studio space. The floor is glossy, the air quiet, and in the center, a motorcycle sits under a soft white spotlight. You don't hear anything. No voices, no footsteps. Just this subtle sense that you're standing in front of something sculpted with intention. And as you start walking around it, the shape reveals itself. Long, sharp, almost architectural. That's the sensation Husqvarna is chasing with the new Vitpilen 901R. If you've ever seen previous Vitpilens, the 401, the 701, you'll know Husqvarna has this Scandinavian design language that's not about shouting. It's more like staring at a modern art museum piece and knowing the artist spent 20 years trying to express a single quiet idea. That's how the new Vitpilen looks, but now everything feels amplified. The surfacing is tighter, the angle's more deliberate, and the stance, taller, more athletic, almost like it's mid-stride. But here's the fun twist. Husqvarna didn't just sharpen the styling. They gave this 901R a hybrid assist system that changes the riding character in ways that honestly surprised me. I'll get to the engine in a bit, because I want to take my time here and let you imagine the bike piece by piece. Because when you first see the 901R, that clean white and blue palette hits your eyes first. Husqvarna's colors have always felt cold, almost clinical. But on the 901R, they're warmer somehow. Maybe it's the brushed metal contrasts. Maybe it's the darker accents around the tank. Or maybe it's just the way the lighting strikes the side profile. That single sweeping line from headlight to tail. Speaking of the headlight, wow. You know how most bikes now go full matrix LED, flashing animations, all that cyberpunk stuff? Husqvarna went the opposite direction. A perfectly round LED ring, but with this subtle broken circle aesthetic. It's like someone cracked a halo and then recomposed it as art. When it lights up at night, there's a calm confidence to it. It doesn't scream for attention. It just exists, like a full moon on a silent road. And that's kind of the whole attitude of this bike. Confidence without noise. Now let's talk about the part that shocked me when the leaks first came out. The hybrid system. Not a full hybrid like a Prius motorcycle. Not some giant battery pack. What Husqvarna has done is build a compact electric assist that acts almost like a permanent tailwind behind you. Imagine you twist the throttle and for the first half second, there's this little extra push. Like the bike is finishing your sentence for you. That's the feeling they're going for. And on a naked bike, that's wild. What makes this especially interesting is how Husqvarna has tuned the response. It's not like a turbo kick that slams into your spine. It's more of a quiet breath of torque that fills the dips where a typical combustion engine might lose a bit of enthusiasm. So when you roll out of a corner or slide through a roundabout, the hybrid assist quietly patches the power band, smoothing it into this velvety, almost uninterrupted pull. But don't worry. It still has that KTM adjacent aggression under the skin. Because, let's be real, Husqvarna and KTM share DNA. And when you hear the combustion side of the engine, that raspy twin-cylinder heartbeat is still there. Husqvarna just refined it enough to feel more premium, maybe? More curated. Take a second to imagine that sound echoing in a tunnel. You're on the 901R. The digital dash glowing softly, the hybrid assist humming just beneath the combustion bark. You roll your wrist slightly and the bike responds instantly, like tightening the string of a bow. The world pulls toward you as the bike glides into speed. That's the romantic side of this machine. Now, something really fascinating about the new Vitpilen 901R is how Husqvarna blended street performance with a tiny sprinkle of off-road capability. Not full gravel rally mode. Don't expect a 901 adventure hiding under the seat, but the suspension has this unexpected adaptability. The 901R has stiffer settings than the standard Vitpilen, but there's enough travel and enough damping intelligence to handle cracked roads, unexpected dips, and even light gravel without panicking. It's the kind of bike you could ride through a forest road at sunset. Not aggressively, but confidently. Just enjoying the wind stirring the leaves and the feeling of the tires gently crunching on the ground. Imagine that moment. You've taken a wrong turn somewhere while exploring. Instead of panicking, the 901R just follows along calmly, letting you enjoy the detour. You pull up near a ridge and the engine ticks softly as it cools. The sun is low. The blue accents of the bike glow faintly. And you just sit with it. That's the lifestyle Husqvarna is shaping here. Effortless, almost poetic riding. And hey, if you're enjoying this deep dive so far, do me a favor. Hit that like button and let YouTube know that SuperBike Intelligence is worth recommending to more riders like you. It helps the channel more than you think. Now let's talk ergonomics, because this is something that separates the 901R from the older Vitpilens in a meaningful way. The previous models always had this slightly committed, slightly forward-leaning posture. Not super aggressive, but not completely relaxed either. The 901R tweaks that balance. The bars sit just a touch higher, the pegs a touch lower, and the seat, still minimalistic, but now sculpted with this satisfying dip in the middle that cradles you instead of punishing your spine. It's one of those small changes that transforms long rides from tolerable to effortlessly enjoyable. And that matters because this bike isn't trying to be a track monster. It's trying to be a real everyday companion, the kind you look forward to riding even when it's just a trip to the store. Now, I really want you to imagine this next part. Close your eyes if you need to. You're walking up to the 901R early in the morning. The streets are empty. A soft mist hangs low. You thumb the starter, and instead of a loud bark, the bike wakes with a gentle hybrid hum. Then the engine catches a smooth pulse of life, and the bike settles into a balanced idle. The dash lights up, clean fonts, calm colors, nothing overwhelming. You roll out of your driveway, the tires whispering on the damp road. The hybrid system quietly smoothing out the low-speed throttle. You take a deep breath. It's just you and the world. And this incredibly composed machine. It's these small lifestyle touches Husqvarna is leaning into. A motorcycle that feels like an extension of your mood. Not hyper, not chaotic, just intentional. But don't get it twisted. This thing moves. Once the hybrid assist and combustion engine sync up, the torque delivery becomes this long, uninterrupted ribbon. On a country road, that means fewer gear changes, fewer dips in momentum, and more time to sink into the sensation of riding. And for spirited weekend rides, that feeling becomes addictive. Now here's something that surprised a lot of people. Husqvarna actually improved the wind management on the 901R. Since it's a naked bike, you're obviously not getting full fairing protection. But they subtly reshaped the tank and side panels to redirect airflow just enough to reduce that annoying chest push you get at higher speeds. It's subtle, but when you're riding for an hour or more, those subtle changes add up. Let me talk about the price for a moment, because this is where things get interesting. Early estimates put the Vitpilen 901R in the premium naked segment. Not quite Ducati Monster SP territory, but definitely higher than a standard middleweight. It's that sweet spot where you feel like you're paying for craftsmanship, but not sacrificing an entire year's salary. And honestly, with the hybrid system, upgraded suspension, premium brakes, and that signature Husqvarna aesthetic, it kinda makes sense. But the real question is how this compares to older Vitpilens. And the answer is, the 901R feels like the moment Husqvarna finally understood what their audience wanted. The older models were cool, but they were experiments. Stylish, yes. Unique, yes. But still searching for an identity. The 901R feels like the conclusion of that journey. Confident, refined, mature. Before we wrap up, and we still have a few more things to talk about, let me just remind you to subscribe if you haven't already. SuperBike Intelligence is growing fast, and I'd love for you to be part of this journey as we continue exploring the motorcycles shaping the next generation. All right, back to the bike. And that's why I think this bike is going to attract a new wave of riders. Not just those who want performance, but those who want personality. A bike that feels like it has a soul. All right, back to the bike. One of my favorite things about the 901R is how Husqvarna has integrated the hybrid battery into the frame without bulking it up. If you look closely, the side profile remains shockingly clean. The packaging is clever. Everything is tucked in so tightly that you barely guess the bike has any electric components at all. It's only when you feel that smooth torque off the line that you remember. Oh yeah, this thing has a secret. The riding modes also take advantage of the hybrid system. There's a mode that prioritizes the electric assist for city riding, giving you a smoother, quieter experience in stop-and-go traffic. Then there's a performance mode that combines the instant electric torque with the full combustion output. That one feels incredible. Not violent, not jerky, just complete. Let's shift to the intangible stuff. The vibe, the attitude, the personality. Every motorcycle has a character, some scream, some whisper. Some feel like wild animals you have to tame. The Vitpilen 901R feels like a calm but powerful presence. Like a motorcycle that knows what it can do and doesn't need to brag. It's for the rider who enjoys the details. The kind of person who notices the stitching on the seat, or the texture of the grips, or the soft way the brake lever responds to a gentle pull. It's not trying to be a race bike. It's not trying to be an adventure bike. It's not trying to be anything other than what it is. A sophisticated naked machine with a Scandinavian soul. Picture this scene. It's late evening. You stop at a petrol station to refuel. Someone walks up, looks at the bike, and instead of asking, "What's the top speed?" they ask, "What is this?" The design looks incredible. And you just smile, because that's the reaction Husqvarna was aiming for. Not intimidation, fascination. Imagine overtaking on a countryside B road. You check your mirrors. You roll the throttle open. Instead of waiting for the engine to spool up, the electric assist fills the gap instantly. The bike stretches forward with this confident surge, and before you know it, you're already past the car. It's the kind of overtaking that makes you mutter under your breath like, "Yep, that's exactly how it should feel." Let's talk about the dash for a moment. Not too big, not too small. Husqvarna went with a softer visual style. Rounded corners, simple graphics, a layout that doesn't scream for your attention. You get what you need. Speed, modes, hybrid assist level, battery status, trip info. But it's all presented in a way that doesn't clutter your thoughts while you're riding. You know how some bikes feel like mobile phones with wheels? The 901R avoids that. It feels analog even when it's digital. And that's a delicate balance most manufacturers don't manage well. All right. Let's take another small moment to breathe in the imagery. I want you to imagine riding this bike through a long open road as golden sunlight cuts through the trees. The shadows are long. The air has that evening coolness. The hybrid system is quiet. The engine hums in the background. The tires glide over the tarmac like brushes painting a line. You lean into a curve and the bike leans with you like it's predicting your thoughts. No fighting, no hesitation, just harmony. That's when you understand the point of this bike. It's for riders who appreciate the feeling of connection more than outright numbers. That's when you understand the point of this bike. It's for riders who appreciate the feeling of connection more than outright numbers. And yes, we'll talk numbers once Husqvarna officially releases them. But for now, the emotional experience is what truly defines this machine. Let's wrap this up with what I think the Vitpilen 901R represents. It's not just the next model in a lineup. It's Husqvarna telling the world, we're here and we're doing things differently. In a market full of loud designs and complicated tech, the 901R is a breath of calm confidence. It's art you can ride, engineering wrapped in poetry. And the best part? It's real. It's coming. And when it finally hits the showrooms, I think a lot of riders who never considered Husqvarna before will suddenly stop, look, and say, Hold on, this might be the one. Thank you for hanging out with me for this long cinematic deep dive into the 2026 Husqvarna Vitpilen 901R. If you enjoyed this format, hit that like button. It genuinely helps. Leave a comment telling me what bike you want me to explore next, and subscribe to SuperBike Intelligence so you never miss the next ride. Until then, ride safe, ride with passion, and I'll see you in the next one.